I think we're live now. It's 9:15, so I think we're starting on time and on schedule. At the risk of losing the plot a little bit, in hopes of like watching people trickle in, I might yap a little bit about random stuff because it's been a month since I've gone live. And because it's been a month, I feel like there's been a lot that's happened within the last month. So, why not? Why not yap a bit? But, first of all, hey everyone, welcome to the stream. I'm Mel, the host of Animel. If you have not been here before, hopefully you'll sit back, relax, and enjoy this anime chill and chat as we settle in. Hey Riasat, what's going on? Hey Eduardo, how's it going? How's everyone doing this evening, morning, afternoon? I don't know where in the world people are, so I'm just gonna say good day, everyone. I'm not gonna lie, I just finished watching episode 9 like 30 minutes ago. Today was pretty freaking hectic. And it's the end of the month now. It's the end of the month. So I hope everyone had a wonderful May. I hope everyone got to enjoy Comic Book Day in the beginning of May. So that's kind of what I want to yap about a little bit. Welcome, Eduardo. If this is your first stream, we keep it pretty light and we keep it pretty chill here. Damn, I'm sorry to hear that, Eduardo. I hope that June gives you like a better time. Hey Astro Jack, what's up? What's up? Yeah, so at the beginning of May, there was Comic Book Day, and as you know, like oftentimes when you go to comic book stores, there's like manga now, right? And I like took the opportunity to buy a ton of manga, and I went to my local manga store or comic book shop, and they had like a ton of manga that was like 50% off. So how could I not, right? We'll get into the stream shortly. But I just wanted to share with you all of the manga I got. So I got volume 1 of Apothecary Diaries. Even though I've been watching the anime and watched the first 2 seasons of it, I just kind of want to see maybe some variability. Hey Joel, what's up? First volume of Akane Banashi. If you have been on my channel for a while and been a subscriber, you know how much I love Akane Banashi, especially from my video from earlier this year. Let's go. First volume of Dan Dan. Yeah, huge fan. I've done a video on this already. I feel like I don't need to share too much on Dan Dan for that reason, but love Dan Dan. And they happen to also have volume 2, so I had to get both. I got volume 1 and volume 2 of Dan Dan. And then Medalist. Medalist. I've obviously created a video on that last year. So if you haven't watched that video and you want to know more about Medalist, go watch it. And then, I forgot that they came out with the deluxe like covers for Vinland Saga, like the red ones, but they had this 50% off because the regular ones are like 25. So this one was like $12 US dollars. I don't know how much the red ones are, but the red ones are obviously beautiful. But I'm just happy to have volume 1 because I really do love Vinland Saga. And then last but not least, I did end up entering some like random giveaway because why not, right? Whenever you see like a giveaway for manga and stuff, I'm like, sure, why not? Some of them I don't really care for, others I really do care for. So I entered this giveaway through Manga Mart if you don't follow them. And they were giving away the first box set for One Piece. So I'm officially starting my One Piece collection. As you know, and if you've been here for a while, my husband got me into One Piece. I thought he'd be a little bit more thrilled to see this, but he seemed like very underwhelmed. So I'm hoping that he finds some enthusiasm in the fact that we now have volumes 1 through 23 of One Piece, but he's been reading for a long ass time. So maybe that's why he's not that excited versus I started with the anime. And so like I want to read the manga from the beginning because I picked up the manga for One Piece when like it was the whole cake arc, the whole cake saga. So to be frank, like I really want the rest of it and I really want to read it from the beginning. Anyway, yeah, Akane Banashi is awesome. I still gotta watch A-pop. I have not started it yet. I heard that they're working on the production of Core 2 or Season 2. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one it is. I wish I had an area that does big discounts. My Barnes and Nobles barely do discounts. Yeah, you're not really gonna find those discounts at Barnes and Nobles. Try to find a local comic book shop if you can. But I guess it's kind of difficult depending on where you may be. But yes, Finland Saga. I'm so excited to start reading that. I need to like sit down and really read all of this manga I got now, because like I got all this manga. Now I need to find the time to read it. Anyway, yeah, Manga Mart seems to be in the US only. I forgot where they're located. But anyway, hey Rox, what's up? So I guess, just wanted to yap a little bit, give people time to trickle in. Again, if you haven't been here before and this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Mel, the host of AniMel. And if you have not been here before and you're just joining the stream, make sure you like. If you end up enjoying the stream, I hope you subscribe and become part of the AniMel community. But without further ado, main topic at hand is Demons of the Shadow Realm, because that's what these monthly lives are for. We're here to talk about things that happened, some thoughts and ideas, and I'd obviously love to hear what you guys thought of some of these episodes. So we're going to be talking about episodes 5 through 9. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. There were 5 weeks in May, so we got a lot to cover. So first things first, if you guys can't see my screen, please tell me right away, because, technical difficulties. And when you're flying solo, it's always a little bit harder for you to know when your screen is not being shared. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, just let me know. I honestly would love to have physical copies of manga, but it would be a pain to move those copies consistently. Do you move often? Is that what it is, Astro? Like, that does sound like a pain. It's okay, Mel. I have read less than 60% of the manga I have at this point. I mean, if you've read at least 60% or close to it, that sounds like a good amount. So I don't know what you're talking about. I think I don't even own that much, and I don't think I've read most of them. They kind of just sit on my shelf, which is actually kind of fucking crazy. Eduardo, I do have a comic book shop, but they don't focus on manga mainly. That sucks. They mainly focus on figures. Yeah, okay, that does kind of suck. Maybe you could like convince them to start adding manga to their store, because, it's a huge opportunity for profit. Like, come on, make it make sense. I'm behind, but I don't care about spoilers on this. Trying to get through my last hour of work. Okay, I mean, we're going to try to get through this in an hour, because I am flying solo in every way right now. Everything's Gucci on my end, view-wise. Okay, awesome. Thanks. I'm going to be moving in with my partner soon. Oh, that sounds exciting. Congratulations. So it's already been a pain getting a lot of my stuff out. Okay. Yeah. Through my Kindle library. It's bad. Though my Kindle library is bad. Okay. Hey, I'm assuming it's Joe, because usually Joe is on the Life of Anime podcast account. Thanks for joining, Joe. I mean, I know how busy you are. But anyway, word. Let's start with episode 5. So obviously where we left off from episode 4, we have left, right, Yuru and Jin, and Yuru's like, I want to see my sister, or rather the girl who claims to be my sister. Let's just say that. So we're picking up right from there. And I love some of these moments that they're in the parking garage still, because this hair is taunting, just to call out, this hair is taunting Wright, and to see Wright get so livid, and this hair is just like, bitch, what? Like, it's as small as shit, and it's like, bitch, what? I'm like, oh my god. So Demons of the Shadow Realm continues to be like hilarious and funny in all sorts of ways. But they go to the house, and this dude comes up and greets them, and he is the most sus motherfucker ever. He is so sus in episode 5. And I'm like, this guy is giving really bad energy. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I gave Joel mod status, Joe. He's nephew, so I was like, I'm gonna give it to him. Yeah, that scene had me cracking up. Like I rewatched the scene like 2 or 3 times because I'm like, this shit doesn't need to be this funny. But yeah, this dude is hella creepy. And from episode 5, I'm like, yeah, I don't love this guy. But anyway, they arrive at the home and they meet up with Asa. And I feel like this episode is pretty light work in terms of like things that are being said. Like obviously what's explained is that Yuru's parents have gone missing, so he gets that information. Jin is getting himself treated, and Asa is kind of just talking about like, you know, the state of the house that they're in and things like that. So I felt like this episode was pretty light in terms of things, and I felt like they were just getting set up for what kind of was happening in the episodes to come. So like, honestly, I feel like there's not a crazy amount to say during this episode. Like, it was just really interesting to see like Asa's reaction to seeing her brother and just being so elated at seeing him, and how much she wanted to hug him and how much she wanted to take a photo of him. Like, we always hear the word siscon when you're watching like anime, like brothers who like love their sisters, but you don't really hear the terminology brocon, like brother complex. And I was like, yeah, she has it real bad, like full blown brocon. And I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to do about this girl. But it's a little bit creepy. You know what I mean? At this point, it's creepy because you don't get like the context of how much love she has for her brother. Maybe it's due to the separation. I don't know. And I was like, girl, just back off. This dude hasn't seen you in 10 years. And the last time that he saw you, you were like this tall, yay high. And I don't know how old you were. You were probably like 10 years old or 9 years old. You get what I'm saying? I wanted to sock him in the face from the moment I saw him. Yes, he gives like that. Like, how do I even explain this? He gives like that character, like the character with the snake eyes in almost every single anime. And you know that there's something weird about them always. There's something weird about them always. And maybe they're not necessarily like the bad guy, but they're just weird. You know what I'm saying? See, I can't tell if we should believe the energy or if he's someone that's creepy, but we should still trust. Yes, I mean, this whole stream is going to basically be about like, I basically don't trust nobody right now. Everybody is really sus. Like, who do I trust? You get what I'm saying? I bet he's cool. Ain't no way he's a bad guy. Yeah, see, like, so in this episode, I just thought that he was weird. Okay, we'll get into that a little bit more later. But yes, she has Brocon to the max. Hey Luigi, yes, Asa is down bad for her brother. I mean, in the purest way, but it was just like intense, you know. But I enjoyed this scene. I saw a lot of people just like comparing this scene to Nina and the dog from Full Metal Alchemist, and I was just like, yeah. I feel like this shouldn't be a comparison. Why are we making this comparison? Like, do you guys enjoy being traumatized? Do you enjoy revisiting trauma? Like, I don't enjoy revisiting trauma. Can we not revisit trauma? Thank you. She has it full blown. Like, I kind of get it because she got taken away from him. But yeah, they too old for that. She's just too excited. It's like, that's over the top. She legit just respects and loves him so much. Yeah. Also, I trust Yuru left, right, Asa, and that's it. Right. Exactly. At this point, that's the only people I trust. And even Asa to an extent, like at this point in like this episode, I'm like, it's a little bit wavy for me. I don't know about you, Asa. The village is the most sus to me, but I won't get into that until you talk about it. Yeah, we'll get there. Gabu Gabu, yes, she's growing on me. In this episode, she kind of grew on me because she was like, yo, people are coming in and trying to invade our home. Like, I'm about to throw hands. And I'm like, yes, girl, let's go. Even though I'm still a little skeptical about her at this point because what she did to the villagers still didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to me. Yeah, he does look like Jin. Jin? Yeah, Jin. He does look like him, exactly like him. And you know his ordeal. He was like not the bad guy. He was pretending to be the bad guy, but he just looked really sus. But that's a good point. So I like this part here, kind of the setup to the next episode where they're introducing these new Daemons. I do like the designs of yin and yang. Like you could kind of tell right away before they even revealed the fact that they were yin and yang, that this is a yin and yang thing. And I like how the Daemons, as they continue to expand, they're kind of like easy to tell. And like things that you're kind of familiar with, and you see them as pairs. Like it makes sense when you see them together, and it's like, wow, this is naturally a pair. And as it goes on and on and on, like I'm so curious as to how they will continue to expand on these pair system and like things that are fundamentally like familiar that you can kind of like, just naturally think like, oh yeah, these two go together. But this episode basically ends with homeboy Yuru about to throw hands. Okay. So, I mean, there's not a lot to say about this episode. And I think like a lot of us saw this and we were like, yo, what the hell is going on? This guy with the Jin looking eyes, very sus. Asa and her brokenness is OD. And who the hell is invading the house? Because we thought there was a barrier. Like, how did they get in? So obviously that's still a question yet to be answered and figured out even after watching episode 9 up until this point. So I'm just like, okay, what gives? Who are these people? How did they get in? Are they in association with the village at this point of this episode? And then this episode was just pure cruelty. Like they showed this guy about to shoot the arrow and then they ended the episode. Like, did you have to do that? The cliffhanger didn't have to be this intense. You could have like backtracked it like a minute or two and then shown this in episode 6. But no, they said, we gotta set this shit up and we're gonna make people anticipate and then we're gonna make them wait a whole week. Come on, man. Anyway, I digress. She's dope as a character, but I will not trust her at all. I assume you're talking about Gabby. Yeah. Still questionable, What's up, Marco? Welcome. So yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the extent of episode 5. I felt like episode 5 is probably my least favorite episode so far in the number of episodes that we've seen, because we are about to like have 24 episodes this whole season. I feel like this was like my least favorite episode. Just because it felt like there was mostly gags going on. I felt like they were setting up for something. And I feel like we didn't get like an immense amount of lore aside from the fact that we revisited how their parents have gone missing. And now Yuru is learning, because technically we learned as the audience in episode 4. But now Yuru is learning for the first time that his parents have gone missing. Also, I think at some point, we see that Deta and his partner, I can't remember her name at this point because we only talked about her once or twice, are looking for Yuru because they're like, yo, where is this guy? And they kind of find out that he's, oh, snap. Hold on. Yeah, my light's timed out. Anyway, we kind of find out that they find out that he's in the Kagemori compound and they're like, come on, bro, what is this guy doing? Anyway, so I feel like this was probably my least favorite episode. I'm curious as to what you guys would rate episode 5. I felt like it was lore light. I felt like it was action light. And so we were kind of just, getting some interaction moments, like character interactions. Like people are coming to meet up. We're getting these interactions, and that's it. Eduardo, we like dark mode. If it goes completely dark in here, you guys won't be able to see me. So we ain't going dark mode. Regardless, the way they found him was dope though. Yeah, the ability of the cat and dog was really interesting. Seeing the cat on the phone, I thought that was like the most interesting part. But yeah, curious what you guys would rate it. I feel like I'd give it like a 6.5. Just because it felt like really light. And it just felt like a setup episode. And you know how it is with setup episodes. Anime after dark. That would be fun. Like in the middle of the night stream, like 1-2 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, not my favorite. I feel like I see people talking about Kaiju number 8. IDK, which cliffhangers are worse? This, Kaiju number 8, or Chainsaw Man? Like when you say Chainsaw Man rocks, do you mean the manga? Because I feel like season 1 didn't really give like a lot of crazy cliffhangers, except for maybe the very last episode before going into season but I mean going into the movie, and now we're waiting for like season 2, 3, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna just say that this was light, very light. The sun is rising over here. Really, Joel? What time is it for you? Yeah, Luigi. The Kaiju number 8 cliffhangers, especially in the anime, is really intense. It's definitely not like that in the manga, though. It's a little bit, like, more chill. Anyway, we're just going to leave it at that. This was a nice setup episode, but not my favorite. I really enjoyed episode 6. So episode 6, 3:30 in the morning and the sun is already rising. That's nuts. That's nuts. Okay. All right. Good to know. Yeah, so we pick up right where we left off in episode 6, and Yin and Yang are attacking. This whole episode is, how do I say this? It's like just action galore. Like we see Yuru just go ham. We see Asa also get into action. Obviously, Jin is out of commission because he got injured by Yuru from 2 episodes ago. So it's really like nice to see kind of like the siblings go at it. Also, this moment right here where she's just like, oh my God, my brother is so cool. I was like, oh my God, girl. It continues, you know? I don't mind a good gag. But this one is just like, it's over the top. And I low-key need her to like tone it down a bit. Because it's a lot. But I get it. You haven't seen your brother in a long time. I don't know. I like the MC. He's like okay with everything, but I won't open up to y'all. Yeah, he's definitely like that, Yuru. And I actually appreciate that because he like seems level-headed in a way. You know what I'm saying? But like he's like open-minded, despite the fact that when we get introduced to him, he's kind of a little bit hot-headed. So I'm like pleasantly surprised by his like level-headedness. Hey, Nina. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, so anyway, this moment again. But it was nice to see like both of them come together and start throwing hands because, and I started wondering for a minute why Asa has no like Daemons. But it's nice that in this episode that she gets Daemons with Yin and Yang, and we get to see how she can use the break ability, because up until this point the break ability has been used to 1, break the barrier to the village, and then 2, she was practicing like in the yard a couple of episodes ago at breaking physical items. So I feel like that was the extent that we knew, but it's really fascinating that she can break the contract between Daemons and their current master. So I thought that was really fascinating, and it kind of got me thinking a little bit, and I'll come back to this in a minute. So it was just really nice to see them like go into action, and try to just like, you know, protect themselves and the people around them more or less. Yeah, I agree with you, Astro. Like his action first approach is always really fun to see. And I like low key, I feel like he's pretty level-headed, and I think like Asa explains it, the guy is a hunter, you know what I mean? So despite the fact that he goes into action first, it kind of seems like sometimes he always has a plan, but maybe not. Like his plan is to always do ad hoc work, but his ad hoc work and his ad-libbing is just so on point. So even when he goes into action, maybe with like a soft plan, he still executes like exceptionally well. And I don't know, maybe this is just like main character like energy, you know what I'm saying? Like he just executes, no questions asked, kind of like his Daemons, which they get excited about every time. They're like, yo, you guys, let's just go to work, just get the job done, and they're happy to do it. Like they don't care. So at which point Asa and Yuru get eaten by Yin and Yang, and I thought this moment was interesting for a couple of reasons, because right follows Asa and left follows Yuru. And they go on to explain, because I didn't understand it. I'm like, why are the Daemons not with their master? Like, right should be with him. But at first it's like, oh, maybe Yuru asked him, but like there was no he asked him. So they kind of like explain how, and I started thinking about this for a while. They kind of explain how left and right are guardians for break and seal. And it almost sounds like Yuru getting left and right as Daemons was an accident almost. Like he needed a way to protect himself and he needed Daemons and left and right was available. Because at one, like, I don't know if you guys first started thinking about this. It's like, how do you even acquire Daemons in the first place? But after this episode, it seems to explain like it's a contract by blood. And that's why Yuru was able to acquire left and right. Because what if the scenarios were reversed? Asa technically could have gotten it, right? So I feel like this episode really explained to an extent like how you can acquire a Daemon if you have the ability to see them clearly. And it looks like it's a contract by blood, and Yuru getting left and right may have just been a happy accident to an extent. Because if right is Break's natural enemy and left is Seal's natural enemy, why would either of them be paired with them as Daemons? Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? Anyway, I also love an MC that uses a bow and is deadly with it. I always choose a bow in all my games. The bow and arrow is always really fascinating. I have to say, like, I find it one of like the most interesting things, like so much so that I like had to take an archery class. Like I scheduled like an archery class with my husband and I was like, dude, we're doing this. I've always wanted to shoot a bow and arrow. It was so much fun. I'm dying to do it again. I feel like it's just like so interesting, like how it works and how hard it fucking is, man. How hard it fucking is for you to aim with something so rudimentary. You know, like technology has advanced and there's so many things in this world, but like a bow and arrow that's string and wood and like other materials, and it just like is deadly. I mean, I can agree with you on that. Sis gotta give him Link bow and arrow. See, I like Link as a character. If you ever play Super Smash Bros., I feel like I love Link as a character. I usually like main Zelda, or Samus, one of the two. But like Link is always fun, especially Toon Link. Anyway, I'm getting aside with myself. Astro, to learn that they could negate the twins is so crazy to find out. Yes, because it doesn't make sense. Like how and why did Yuru end up with them? And I really think it was just an accident of circumstances since Yuru doesn't have Seal. Hey, what's going on, good kid? Watching the dub and I'm loving it so far. Only on episode 7 since it takes a minute. Oh, the dub is delayed. I didn't know the dub was delayed. Shoot, that sucks. Astro, it is so hard to use. I know I don't got it like that, which is why I always appreciate characters that can use the bow and arrow. Rocks. That's some real stuff, Mel. I've been waiting to learn how to dual wield sword because the anime. Let me know when you figure that out, Rocks. Let me know when you figure that out. When you do, like, if you found an instructor, send me the link, bro. Send me the link because I gotta know. And maybe I'll schedule that as our next like date. That would be fucking fire. What's up, Annie Monday? What's good? Welcome to the stream, man. If you're new to the stream here, you know, make sure you like. If you're new to Annie Mel, I'm Mel. You know, what's up? Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you end up enjoying the live and watch some of the other stuff that I have on my channel. Astro, I would say it was an accident. Detta was pissed that he had to give him those Daemons. Yeah, it has to be. Like, that don't make no sense. But you want to know something? I love Yuru and Left's like dynamic. Like, it seems like right is like a little bit more regular, and then Left is just like real stoic, but she's kind of derpy like Yuru sometimes, and they just both seem a little bit airheaded a little bit, but like always know what's going on, like make it make sense. I don't get it, but I love it. But it was giving either him though, like give him those or lose Yuru to the Kagemori family. Yeah. Thank you, Annie Monday. I appreciate that, man. Luigi, I think Yuru was meant to give it because Detta was like, you're not ready yet. but gave it to him because they were being attacked. Okay, like you think that potentially he either needed to be older and know the circumstances, or was it potentially like he needed Seal first in order for him to like get left and right? Or is it that maybe his parents or their parents were supposed to have left and right as a means of like supervising them, like as their own guardians? Also, they're meant to be guardians and seem like they were always going to be daemons of one of the twins. Okay, that's a good point because, yeah, I guess so. It would they could end up just as guardians because I feel like in the next preceding episodes, and we'll get to that, they kind of explain left and right. Not left and right, but Yuru and Asa a little bit to an extent that someone on Threads kind of asked this question, and, you know, happy to brainstorm with some of you here, kind of asked like the understanding behind Seal and Break, and why is it that they're thought to bring about chaos and the destruction to the world, and why people are trying to use it. I think that's something like I definitely want to talk a little bit more about, and I'm like thinking through even as we go through this live. Astro, I think personality wise, they match up perfectly with who they were in the barriers, yin and yang. Yeah, actually, you know what? That's really fascinating that you say that though, because like Yuru obviously has the light vibe going, and Asa has like the dark vibe going, but based on their names, like it should be the opposite, right? Which we talked about in the first couple of episodes in the first stream, where Asa means morning and Yuru means night. So like this dichotomy continues to present itself where the names don't match the vibes or the visuals and like the design. Anyway, but it was really, really cool to see Gabby go into action. And I think this is kind of where we learn that they're called Gabrielle. And obviously in later episodes, like episode 9, we learn their full name, which is crazy long, like Frederick, blah, 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 Gabrielle 1, and then some other thing, Gabrielle 2. And I'm like, bro, why are their names so long? Anyway, I have to bounce. I'm watching the first Rambo movie in theaters. Can't miss this opportunity. W stream. Have a great day, Mel, and everyone else. Good night, Marco. Enjoy your movie. Thanks for joining, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. Word. Anyway, it was nice seeing Gabby get into action and kind of like use her Gabrielle's, I guess you could say. And then just last touch, Yuru getting on the house and just sniping people in the dark was genuinely crazy. I'm like, this bro, I get it. He grew up in a village. He probably has really keen like eyesight, like as indicated when we saw him in the parking garage. But like in every episode, it just goes to show and prove how much modern society has dulled our senses, and how much like Yuru, despite not understanding anything about modern society, doesn't understand phones, doesn't understand anything that there is to offer in modern society, like the very basic things that we're all familiar with and we live and take for granted in our everyday lives. He literally just is like, yeah, I'm thriving out here in the modern world because you guys are weak. You guys are weak and have succumbed to modern society, bitches. Yeah, that was very fascinating, like seeing him on the roof. And I thought it was just like the highlight of the episode. Luigi. Oh, wait, last comment in Yin and Yang. You can totally tell we are getting FMAB influence here because Yuru was in the void. That's a great call out. I didn't notice that. Like, I'm trying to keep Daemons very separated from FMAB because I don't want my brain to like start blending things together and looking for too many similarities, or else I won't be able to like distinguish it. But you see like so much influence from like their like most famous works. But anyway, I digress. Astro Jack, his thoughts His thought ways of hunting is truly a beauty to watch. Yeah, honestly, it's my favorite in terms of the action scenes that we get. Like, it's cool seeing the Daemons go into action, but my favorite is definitely seeing him use the bow and arrow, because it just makes everything supernatural feel like less exciting. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes everything like supernatural just feel less powerful. Yeah, maybe that's how I want to say it, because there's just so much power behind this bow and arrow, especially because he's like, yo, this bow and arrow was a little bit different from the one that I'm usually used to, and it seems like a little bit more sturdy and advanced maybe, and he kind of just was like, gotta get used to it. But he got used to it quick and took out every single dude and woman hiding in the garden. And that's just master class. If only Usopp sniped like this on the regular. I mean, I feel like Usopp can if he just wasn't scared. You get what I'm saying? If he just wasn't scared, he could. Just think about it. I want more and more scenes of him just going ham hunting. Yes, like, I am so excited to see like the fact that we're getting 24 episodes, because I'm hoping that we get more moments like this. But I feel like there's definitely a little bit of a formula here, where we get a lot of intense action, some shocking moments, and then lore. A couple of episodes of lore and talking, and then comedy, and then more action, which I feel like we're going to get in episode 10. Right. Anyway, I feel like that was the extent of this episode. This moment right here also got me when they were interrogating them, and they were like, what's the name of your Daemons? And they're like, they're just Daemons. You know, they obey me. Why do they need names? And Gabby, this is the moment I had respect for Gabby. Up until episode 6, I was like, I want nothing to do with this girl. She went into the village, killed a ton of people, and I still don't understand why. Like, I don't like that about her. She is like very arrogant, and like, no matter how cool like her character seems and her Daemons are, I like don't like what she is giving as a person. But this moment I was like, all right, Gabby, I feel a little bit of respect for you, because you have like this honor system of respect your Daemons. Just because you're their master doesn't mean that like you should mistreat them. And I thought like this moment was very nice. So this episode, combined with action, combined with some of the like information that we got on left and right and their purposes with Seal and Break, I feel like this episode can be an 8 for me. But let me know your thoughts on what you guys think this episode is rated episode 6 while I catch up on comments. Facts, where it's been, bro. It's been since Dressrosa. Usopp could never. Yeah, the Usopp slander is crazy, but you want to know something? I don't hype the Usopp train. So, you know, I just watch him do nothing in the most recent arcs. Joe, Gabby is low-key my favorite despite what happened in the first episode. Your favorite? Like over Yuru? Over the main characters? Over left and right? Like that favorite? Like that high? Gabu Gabu. Yeah. Gabu Gabu is literally my favorite thing to hear in the subbed. Astrojack, I think she honestly did that because she was ordered to eliminate everything outside of Yuru in order to find him. And like, look, I completely understand that. And I think at this point of watching like episode 6, I still don't mesh with it, because I don't understand, you know, like her attacking so many people at the village. Because even if they go on, and I guess I'll just jump ahead a little bit, even if they go ahead and they say like, yeah, the village does their own stuff, we don't believe in what they're doing, their idea of like trying to keep the tradition of these like twins being regenerated over hundreds of years, we don't like it, and we want the village gone, we want it to disappear. But like, how many villagers are really involved in this whole idea and this whole concept of like keeping tradition alive for the sake of Seal and Break, you know, coming back over and over again through these twins? So I feel like it was kind of like take no prisoners, take everyone out because anyone in association is guilty except for the kids because they don't know. But even if you absolve the children because they're naive and don't know the circumstances of Seal and Break and the twins, does that mean that everyone else is also guilty? And I think that's the part that I didn't like, but I like to know your thoughts on it. Like, is the actions of Kagemori, like, does it make sense if the village historically is like wrong, or they disagree with the village historically, but it's not the whole village that's on board with the idea or even understands the concept? It's the people in charge. Does it still make it right to take out everyone else? I don't know. Like, that doesn't make sense to me, and I don't really like that concept. So that's why, you know, for me, Gabby, as cool as a character as she is, and I love her Daemons, and I respected her in this moment, I still feel very uneasy about her for that reason. And obviously, like, the Kagemori clan as a whole. It's deserved at this point. Crazy. I'm assuming you're talking about Usopp. Astro Jack, plus the way she interacts with Asa, tells me that she could do anything to make sure she's protected and happy. Yeah, like, she really cares for Asa a lot. And, you know, as we get to know these characters a little bit more, I understand what Gabby does. I understand, like, her role in this. But, like, from Yuru's perspective, and when he sees her again in this episode, he's like, shitty little brat. I'm like, that's how I feel, Yuru. That's how I feel. Eduardo, I still have an inch on Gabby still. The village people encounter itch on Gabby. The village people encounter was still not cool. Yeah, like, I completely agree with you. Joe, yeah, that high. And Gabu Gabu made more sense since you learned that her name is Gabby and the Daemons are Gabrielle's. Yeah, I like that play on, like, words there. It's, like, so fun. And I feel like the creator just was like, fuck it. Let's just go Gabu Gabu, Gabby Gabby, Gabrielle. Everybody's a Gabby, man. Everybody is a Gabby. Astro Jack, I agree with you, Mel, but at the same time, you never know what will come to bite you in those situations, especially because you can't trust the village based on episode 9. Yeah, obviously we'll get into that a little bit more further ahead, but I digress. It's just like, how do I say this? Like, it almost feels like you're putting the cart before the horse by assuming everyone's bad. And, like, me, morally speaking, that's not the kind of person that I am. And I feel like some people should be given a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. And I understand that, like, the situation could be very precarious, but, you know, kill now, ask questions later is definitely not my vibe and not my MO. Joe, my biggest question is, why are they going after Asa now? Why not before, when the parents were still there? Is it just because Yuru wanted them to? Is it an age thing and taking advantage of Seal and Break? Yeah, you know, that's a good question. So you're asking why they didn't go after Asa. Well, what about maybe, like, they thought Seal was the more powerful one? Like, maybe that's it, because we haven't seen Seal yet. We don't know anything about Seal. We just know that Seal is supposed to belong to Yuru, and he's yet to activate it for reasons that we'll talk about in the next episode review. But, like, why Yuru instead of Asa? I mean, Asa was also in a cage, and it seems like she was well protected, whereas Yuru was allowed to roam. So maybe Break, you know, I don't know. Do you think she was in the cage because she couldn't defend herself, whereas Yuru could? Or do you think she was in the cage because Break is potentially more dangerous than Seal? Like, I'm so curious about all of these different things. Like, I feel like it could go so many ways. It could be that Break is more dangerous than Seal, so they had to hide Asa away. Or they just picked one of the twins and they said, well, Asa, you're going in the cage and Yuru is going to roam out in the wild, and that's just how it's going to be. It could have just been like a pure coincidence of chance, and with Asa being more guarded, they didn't go after her. But because entry into the village is a little bit confusing, it's hard to get into the barrier, and it seems like the easiest way for you to target someone is kind of like out in the wilderness, where Yuru often frequented for hunting. So I low-key think that might just be it. Like, it might just be to the circumstances of her being in the cage. But, like, there's something in me that low-key tells me that Break might just be a little bit more dangerous than Seal. And perhaps that's why they put her in the cage. Luigi, going back to Gabby, I think she wanted to eliminate the villagers because of what she was likely told about them and of how Asa was potentially treated. Okay, I could understand that. I mean, we don't know the full extent as to how badly Asa was treated in the village, and obviously the parents chose to escape with her. And not Yuru, even though we find out in episode 7 that they wanted to take Yuru, but they just couldn't. And I'm assuming the old lady, I think they said it, but I assume the old lady stepped in, got involved, and it was like, nah, bruh. You guys want to leave? You can take Asa. I'm going to let you go, but Yuru stays because the both of them together is more dangerous than they are apart. Rocks, you get a Gabby. You get a Gabby. Everyone gets a Gabby. I love that. Gabby everywhere. Joe, yeah, we still really don't know who the bad guy is, but at this point I'm thinking is everyone. Yeah, kind of like a situation of like, you don't like a certain group, I don't like a certain group, and because these groups have stigmas about each other, they've just created war. And then you have this outlier third party that's just benefiting from you guys having beef. Which I think is the people that potentially is attacking, Yuru and Asa right now at this point. I don't think it's the villagers. And obviously this is not the Kagemori clan here, or maybe it is. I don't know. Because how did they get into the house, right? So maybe it's a spy in a third party group and they're taking advantage of the circumstances and the mess that the village and the Kagemori clan are like actively like warring and beefing, Riasa, haven't done archery in a while. It's fun though, right? If you've tried it before. I think if anyone is interested in a bow and arrow, take an archery class. It is so fun. Your fingers will hurt like hell. I low-key think I injured my finger for a while and I didn't get the sensation back for like months. Anyway, that's that. Asher Jack, yeah, I feel you on that and appreciate the perspective. I think they had her in the cage because Brick is more dangerous, especially because of the way she broke the barrier in the first episode. That's a good point. You know what? Now that I think about it, do you think that Seal is the person who created the barrier on the village and it kind of just lives there existentially? I'm curious about that. Anyway, Jiraiya, welcome, bro. It's all right, man. It's late. It's 10 o'clock. And to be honest, I am rambling and we've been doing this for 47 minutes now, and I do not have the luxury to be rambling like this. Holy crap. We're only on episode 6. But yes, quick rating on episode 6. I rated an 8. You guys let me know your thoughts in the chat. But I thought this was a really good episode lore-wise and action-wise. All right, moving on to episode 7. Rocks months, making me a bit skeptical now, Mel. Look, I just think I hurt myself and I didn't address it. I just thought, oh, this sensation will go away. And then a month passed and I said, wait, it's not going away. Should I go see a doctor? And then as time passed, I started getting the sensation back and I said, okay, everything's fine. I guess maybe I just had a little bit of like, temporary nerve damage. But, 'tis life. We all get injured sometimes. After Astro Jack, I think they may have been the case, especially because of how powerful and tedious it is to get out of the barrier. Episode 6, I would rate it an 8. All right, dope shit. All right, episode 7. Episode 7, we open up with, and obviously at the end of episode 6, I think they kind of like, indicate like, Yuru is kind of curious as to what is the deal with Asa's eye patch. So we roll into episode 7 and we got an introduction as to when like Yuru and Asa's parents were still in the village and the first time Yuru ever encountered like being targeted, like an assassin was coming after him. Like this moment was very like, oh my God, boy, I feared for his life for a little bit. Obviously, we know that he's alive in the future, but I feared for his life a little bit. Like, he looks so young, and to just be attacked like that, holy crap, trauma. So it was really interesting seeing their past, seeing young Asa. It's crazy how they kept her looking the same, like fake Asa, and it's crazy how Yuru never suspected, like, why does this girl still look so young in the cage after, like, 10 years, of time being passed? I would have started asking questions like, why do you still look so young? Why haven't you grown? Yeah, questions. Lots of questions there. Yuru, you should have been like looking a little bit harder as a hunter. But anyway, so it was really interesting to see like their past, how like assassins were coming after them when they were young, but mostly Yuru because he was kind of roaming out in the wild versus she was in a cage, low-key kind of protected, and more deeply embedded in the village versus like getting to the village as hard as it is. I'm sure people get lost in the forest, like surrounding the village. So Yuru probably always was just an easier target for people. But it was just interesting to hear, like, you know, their parents left with Asa. They wanted to take Yuru, but they couldn't. And that, like, people were coming after them since they were young. So it kind of like, sets us up for the whole story of Asa and Break. And we start asking the questions, like, girl, why you got an eye patch? Are you missing an eye? Like, what's the deal? Is it because someone attacked you from the village? And then we go into another story after we figure out, like, their youth, her leaving, and then their parents disappearing. And I guess after that point, when her parents disappeared, the Kagemori clan takes her in. Cool. Yeah. Unfortunately, one day, due to the fact that she has like stomach issues, she has to constantly go to the hospital for help. And she gets nabbed one day on her way to the hospital. Bro, talk about bad luck. Like, you have gastritis issues. I think that's what she said she is, just from all the stress of being attacked. And the one time, and because you're constantly attacked, and the one time you need to go to the hospital to get help because of you're constantly under stress, you get attacked and you get kidnapped. Astro, could they have been exposing him to danger more because they wanted Seal to manifest ASAP? Yo, the questions you guys are asking are like very like, it's like killing me because I'm like, yo, I don't trust like any of the information that we're being given to this point. Like, I feel like not only are the people that we're being introduced to untrustworthy, but even like the plot itself feels very deceiving, and it feels like they're trying to steer us away from something. So that question feels so valid. Because, like, what is the deal with Seal? We don't know anything about it. We know that obviously paired with Break, it could create massive destruction. We see that Break's ability can allow people to just like you can break off contracts with Daemons. So one thing I was thinking about at some point with Seal is I wonder if you were to pair Seal with Break, if you can seal away the abilities of Daemons. Like, what if other Daemons were to just disappear and the only abilities in the world were like Break and Seal? I don't know, man. There's so much to think about here. There's so much to think about here because not knowing anything about Seal, you start to just like crazy scientist theorist like steer your way in a direction where it's like, yo, what if? And I think like Astro, like to your point, yeah, I mean, maybe they were exposing him to danger because of that. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to continue to sit on that. If something pops into my head as we're talking, I will say something. Rocks, this anime makes it hard to trust anyone, and it's working, and I love it. I think that's probably the most enjoyable part about this series is that they are definitely trying to steer us in a certain type of direction, and I feel like I cannot trust the people, I cannot trust the creator, and like I gotta stay vigilant, man. I gotta stay vigilant. Astro, knowing the creator of the series, I wouldn't put it past her. Sealing Daemons in general would be crazy, right? Like, I'm trying to really think what could Seal do? What could Seal do? Because if Break can do that, then I would think Seal could potentially like seal the powers, seal Daemons, or seal the abilities of Daemons. Yeah, something to think about. So getting her story though was crazy because we open up to the fact that in order for you to manifest Break and Seal, you have to die. And it's like, oh shit, You have to fucking die in order for you to manifest these abilities. But the crazy part, and I don't know if they mentioned this in episode 7 or 8, even if you die, and because we see Asa here, you have to choose, kinda, and sometimes it doesn't work. You could not come back. Like, you're supposed to come back, especially if you choose to stay alive and not choose death. You're supposed to come back, but no one knows what happened to that one twin 400 years ago that didn't come back. So there could have been a possibility that he chose to live, that twin chose to live, and they just couldn't make it back. Or they chose to die and just chose not to come back. But no one knows because you don't go to the other realm where Break and Seal are. And the fact that Break and Seal cannot interact, like they're in completely different realms, is also really fascinating. So like earlier, I think we were talking about how Asa and Yuru were in completely different spaces, a space of white and a space of black. And here again, we see the constant continuation of Asa is in darkness. Asa is always associated with the color black or dark colors. And so I like wonder if Seal literally is bright lights. It's the opposite vibes. And I feel like it's just a continuation of like a theme of light and dark happening here whenever we see Asa and Yuru. But like understanding that you have to die, this episode alone, just lore-wise, was a 9 for me. I'm just going to throw that out there because we got so much information from this. Between Yuru getting attacked so young, their parents weren't able to take Yuru, so I'm suspecting he had to be kept behind for safety reasons or for like just the old land, like granny was like, you can't take him, sorry. And then you've got, okay, well, you can manifest Seal, but you can only manifest Seal if you die, but it's kind of iffy, man. So don't go ahead and die. You know what I mean? And because he's like, why didn't anybody tell me this, you know? I mean, simple point. Then maybe you wouldn't defend yourself as hard. Maybe you wouldn't fight as hard, like, because you'd think that you can come back. And again, point being, the chances are 50-50. So I'm glad that they didn't disclose that information to the twins early on. It gives obviously some more mystery for us, but also just the idea of like, if you knew you could come back to life after dying, you probably would be kind of lax a little bit. You know, it's like, I got a trump card a little bit. I'm not that concerned. And then I manifest an ability if I come back. Like, that's dope, right? Astro, that part was wild to hear that you had to die to get the ability and to know that some of the twins in the past die without coming back. Luigi, in order to gain, you have to sacrifice more FMAB influence. Yeah, it's fascinating how, and it's not even like you have to sacrifice. It's like, because you still feel the pain, you still die. And the sacrifice is so immense because you don't even know if you come back, like if you choose to acquire the ability. And it almost feels like Break and Seal I started thinking about this, almost feels like Break and Seal was almost sent to another dimension. Like they talk about the fact that they're gods, but what if Break and Seal were banished from the human realm and they live in another plane? And in order to manifest themselves through the village, they have to like continue this ritual, right? And the only way that they can manifest is by these twins dying. So I'm curious if like them having to die brings them closer to this realm that they're in, that they're isolated in, and that's why they need to die, versus them just having to die, period. So something I started thinking about when I saw this episode and then the episodes that came forward. Astro, the way this episode had me pissed. Why? I'm curious. I must know now. Why did it have you pissed? It was worth it to watch a solid 8.5. Okay. I totally get that. But yeah, this threw me for an absolute loop. And then obviously seeing the fact that her eye is not like gone, but the fact that her eye like generates energy and the ability of Break was kind of crazy. So I'm wondering if for Seal and for Yuru, it's the other eye. Do you think it'll manifest in a different way? That, you know, I feel like it'll probably be the eye similarly, but it would be kind of cool if it wasn't and if it was something else. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, but yeah, we get all this information, and then holy crap, Deta shows up. Like, we saw him maybe 3 or 4 episodes ago. They were looking for Yuru, and they found Yuru. And we obviously knew they were coming to scoop him, but bro just showed up so nonchalant with the, like, head of the Kagemori clan in his clan. And he was like, yo, what's up, guys? Yuru, you been good, bro? And I'm just like, Deta, why are you so lax, my guy? What are you doing here? Like, you're making me anxious. Well, overall, I thought this episode was really great. Just 1, for the lore, 2, with the backtracking and understanding, like, Yuru and Asa's past a little bit more, and maybe why she has this, like, connection with her brother, or like how much she loves her brother, whatever the case may be. Like, I feel like they explained a little bit there to the extent of how they were connected when they were young. Not that much. Maybe I'm pushing it, but I mean, seeing their past, it like helps me digest the BroCon thing a little bit more. But seeing Deta show up was just like, bro, what are we doing here? This is enemy territory. I get that you were here to like pick up Yuru, but like, what's gonna happen? Are you guys about to throw hands? So the cliffhanger here was like, I felt upset. I was like, why are you guys gonna leave me with that? Luigi, I'll stop with the FMAB stuff. Nah, it's good, man. You can continue. It's like, it's interesting to see how like other people see the similarities. That visual with Asa with the eye, actually, that's the one that gave me a flashback. I can't remember which character. Is it Pride? Like, I can't remember, but and like that gave me the flashback. I was like, wait, this character design looks really familiar now. Astro, it had me pissed because of the fact Asa died for just wanting to go to the doctor and the way she was treated, but overall it was solid lore. Yeah, that part got me a little bit. It was like, yo, girl is just trying to get treatment. And it's the fact that you guys kept stressing her out by hunting her that she needs this treatment. And lo and behold, she gets caught in one of those same scenarios that made her sick in the first place. Like, the loop is just like shitty. Okay. Also with the eye, the red philosopher's stones. Yeah. I need to go back and I feel like redigest FMAB. I watched it and it was a lot for me. I felt like it was a lot of information. Like, it was good and I enjoyed it, but I felt like there was so much information to digest that by the end of it, I was like, this was a good watch. I don't think I'll rewatch this though. This was a lot of information for me. Granted, I watch a lot of stuff that have a lot of information. I feel like I would better enjoy FMAB as a manga at this point. Astro, it would be hilarious if Yuru had to give up height for a steal, but that would be so bad. That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, he's already short compared to Asa. Well, how much more height can you give up? No. All right, moving on. Episode 8 also felt a little bit light, just because there seemed to be like more comedic moments involved. This was one of my favorite moments. You see the continuous expansion of the Daemons, and these Daemons are like, I forgot their names, but they're like black and white. One is supposed to be like a race and the other one is like copy or something like that. And I was just like, yo, I love this concept. And the bro is a mangaka, so it works out perfectly. And it's like, yo, your Daemons, I don't know if the Daemons found you or you found the Daemons and then you became a mangaka. Like, how did this work out so well? And sometimes I kind of want to understand like how the partnerships like happened and why they end up like with Daemons that, and I obviously I think like Asa talks about it in episode 9, how she has yin and yang, and Gabby is like, can you even wield them? Does it make sense for you to wield them? Is Break okay with it? And yeah, she's like, yeah, they seem compatible with Break. So it's like, oh, interesting. Like, obviously compatibility seems to be a very important factor here. And we kind of see that with like Left and Right. And Yuru was like, yo, I'm about like getting the business done. If you guys are about that, I don't care what you do. And they were beyond happy. And I was just like, yo, you guys are a match made in heaven. And it seems like most of the Daemons are like that. But then you go back to that other guy who's like, yeah, you know, I'm their master. I don't need to give them any names. So I highly doubt that there was high compatibility between them. So I kind of wonder, and I'm curious, like there's probably Daemons that are kind of just lingering out there in the universe without masters, and you could probably just contract them any type of way. But sometimes it gives a certain vibe like these Daemons were manifested. I wonder if you can manifest your own Daemons depending on like energy or your abilities or the fact that you're connected potentially to the village. I have so many questions about that just after this one scene. And I get this one scene was supposed to be kind of funny, but it left me with so many questions. Luigi, the manga guy, was actually so funny. Astro, the perfectionist in him, made me enjoy his character more. Yeah, I love that. And finding out that he's the oldest brother and he's the youngest brother, I was like, bro, they must have you doing all the dirty work, and you must be so stressed beyond belief that this is why you look like this. Because why do you look like this? You're supposed to be the youngest. Why do you look like this? That's genuinely crazy to me. Anyway, I digress. Astro, I definitely think it has to do with personality more than anything. Okay. I mean, do you think that, and I'll like throw this out to you all, do you think that the Daemons, all of these Daemons that we're seeing have already existed, except for the fact that, you know, we already knew left and right existed, and we already knew that some of these Daemons have been probably ancient, but some of them low-key seem like, you know, maybe a little bit newer, like the mangaka's one. Like that one seems like probably not created centuries ago when the village first came about. Maybe it was something that was generated with modern times. So like that's something I'm very curious about, like modern Daemons versus like more ancient prehistoric Daemons. And I think I'll get into that in episode 9 a little bit more. So I'm curious as to how they manifest. I hope they do cover that within these 24 episodes, because like it's really got the gears turning in my head. But this one was nice, you know, seeing all the little mangaka things come out, and, you know, where it was another character, I think, right? Whose Daemon was it that came out and set the tables? That was cute. But I like this moment here because they're kind of having this discussion about, you know, what's the deal? Why is Kagemori clan and Deta clan beefing? What's the deal with the village? And we kind of just find out that the Kagemori clan, at least the head, kind of wants to be done with this whole like cycle of twins. And the twins are only manifested due to the fact that the village continues to exist, especially in that bubble. So I'm assuming that you need to be in the village, and there needs to be certain circumstances for these twins to be born. And if the village just dissolves and the barrier is gone and everything is modern society, then this will never manifest again. Like break and seal cannot be manifested. These twins cannot come back and be reborn or reiterated, whatever. I don't know. Point being, they want to be done with the village, and that's why they went in and kind of attacked it. Okay, cool. Now I understand why Gabby went in and just was like, off them all, and then bring Yuru to us, and we're going to separate Asa and Yuru from the village, and then hopefully in the future we'll just decimate the village and we'll be done with this whole shit. That way nobody's going to continue to threaten humanity by looking for break and seal, and we can all live at peace. Because this whole thing of having break and seal, this whole like idea is stupid. It's archaic. We don't need it. We live in modern times. We should just be at peace. But then you have super sus guy, middle brother, that looks like Jin, and he's like, well, I actually don't agree with that, even though I'm part of the Kagemori clan. More reasons why he's a little bit sus, because he doesn't even agree with the mission of the clan. It seems like everybody's on board. The mangaka guy is like, I just want to make my manga. This thing that you guys do in the family is not for me. Jin seems fully embedded and in rank, and the middle brother is like, I'm not with it, man. And so like he just left me a little bit more suspicious of him in this episode. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying he's the bad guy, but he left me the most suspicious after this episode. And seeing Yuru just be like, you know what? Like after this conversation, after hearing what you have to say, after hearing what Deta has to say, and I'm suspecting so-called third party may be listening because you guys are not as guarded as I thought you were. I want everybody to know that I'm going to be out there. I'm going to be in these streets. And if you're looking for me, come find me. Come find me, motherfucker, because I will torture you. I will get the information that I need. And I was like, Yuru, I love you. And Asa was just like, bro, what are you saying? And seeing the Daemons just like glow, like they had a brand new, beautiful, spanking facial with happiness was literally so hilarious. So this episode was obviously on the lighter side because we're getting a little bit of understanding from both sides. We're talking about the village's side a little bit through Deda's perspective, who's the protectors of like Seal and Break. And we're getting Kagemori clan's perspective. So it's just like, I'm so curious as to like this third party, because this third party obviously is the people that for centuries have been trying to acquire this ability and wreak havoc. How they may wreak havoc, that is unclear, and that's kind of what somebody on Threads was asking me about. But you know, there's only so much that I feel like we can decipher. But I really do think that if anyone was to acquire Break and Seal, it could be the very essence of like breaking all of these different contracts that every daemon has with any decent human being, acquiring them for themselves, maybe sealing the bond that they have between their daemons so that they're not able to get loose, and just like getting the most powerful daemons that there is and just destroying the world. Like that's the best thing that like in my brain made sense. But it could be something else entirely. Because technically they can't actually take their abilities, so they have to use them through Asa and Yuru. Oh yeah, I forgot where I was just reading. Yeah, I think they have existed for a while now, and that they come about based on the need or era. Yeah, that's what I'm starting to suspect. The reason for that, though, is left and right saying that they only come into existence based on twins being born. Exactly. Jiraiya, I don't even know what episode I'm on. I think I'm on episode 6 or 7. All right, so the one that we're talking about right now is episode 7? Is it episode 8? I think we're on episode 8. Yes, we're on episode 8 right now. All right, cool. There have been so many episodes. We're never doing a 5-episode live again because I'm even losing track right now. Jin dude is annoying in these scenes 100%. I like hate him with every fiber. If I had to hate any of the characters, I hate him the most right now. Especially the way he interacted with Yuru when he first came into the mansion. Rocks, run the fade. Facts. I'm with Yuru on that. Yo, 100%. But yeah, ending with a very light moment with the cell phone photos and just seeing Yuru like freak out about modern technology and just like modern society. I understand that it's a running gag and we're going to continue to see this over and over again throughout like some episodes kind of as the comedic relief. But to be honest, I think I can continue to like find joy and enjoyment in it just for the sole fact that it's just so funny to see his reaction every time, whether it's like absolute shock, whether it's just like happiness because it's like, whoa, oh my God, modern technology can help me build arrows faster and I don't have to like catch a deer and boil the skin down. Like when he explained that in episode 9, I was like, yo, bro, we take so much shit for granted in our lives. And he does all this work just to make bow and arrows. Like, it must take days to make bows and arrows. Anyway, this moment, though, was the most touching. Just, like, seeing Asa hug Yuru from behind after asking for, like, 4 episodes. Like, can I hug you? Can I take a picture of you? She just was like, fuck it. I'm going to do it. I got a picture of him, and I've hugged him. And she's like, brother, be safe. I'm going to be here. I can't leave the barrier, but I want you to be okay out there. And just seeing him like realize like, yeah, this really is my sister after being skeptical of her for many episodes was so touching. I was like, wow, this is a nice way to end them being at like the Kagemori mansion, learning about the beef between the history between Kagemori and the village, and just like getting more understanding behind like the manifestation of seal and break. Like we got so much in these 4 episodes. So this was like a really nice way to close it out. I felt like this live would have been perfect if we ended it here, but you know, I said I'd do it at the end of the month. So we're moving on to episode 9, everyone. After I read some of these comments and after I rate this episode. Did I rate this episode already? I'm going to give it like a 7. Yes, a 7 feels good for this episode. Just due to the fact that we're getting different perspectives, a little more understanding. And I feel like now the lines of who's the bad guy have just become much blurrier. It's like, okay, everyone seems like they have a reason to be doing what they're doing. Luigi, Yuru seeing this world from where he was from is so fun. I'm always here for it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It is just like so fun to see his reaction every time. I don't think I get tired of it, but I'll let you know when I get tired of it. Joe, time for this old man to go to bed. But my computer will be on and lurking. W stream. Good night, Joe. What time is it? It's 10:30. Yo, I need to go to bed. I need to go to bed. Well, it's a good thing we're going on to the last episode. But yeah, definitely a 7. All right. We dive back into the shenanigans. They're on trains. They went to like a horse race. We saw Deta lose a ton of money. And now they're like in a supermarket. So much fun. The opening of this episode was so much fun, and just seeing them in their excitement again. My favorite reactions are always Left's reactions, and I feel like I don't even know how to explain it. Like I feel like the 3 of them are like just like one of them is in the middle, one is like very muted, and the other one is very extreme. Where I feel like Left is like the more muted response, where you've got just like wow, like astonishment, you know what I mean? Never says anything, never like has a gaping mouth or anything like that. And then you've got Right, who's always like, oh my god, this is so cool, like pure excitement. And then you've got Yuru like right in the middle, where he's like kind of freaked out, also kind of excited, and doing the most talking about like, yo, what is this, and him just like explaining to him like, you don't got to do all that work to make arrows, we can buy all your supplies here in this store. Yeah, fun moments when he's like, hey, you need underwear? This is the underwear that we wear here. And he's like, well, you know, I don't really like this underwear. I would prefer a loincloth. And they genuinely asked the employee work store associate, do you guys sell loincloths here? How do you ask him if they sell loincloths there? Like, you know his answer is going to be no, Deta. Why bother asking? Just so Yuru can hear him say that they don't sell loincloths so he can buy underwear. Like, make it make sense, please. Because I was just like appalled at that moment. Like, how are you asking this question? This anime continues to make me just like a little bit appalled in ways that like Yuru is trying to integrate into modern society. And he's like, nah, bruh. Like, all the stuff that you've given me up to this point, awesome. Love it. Really cool shit. But I don't want regular underwear. I want a loincloth. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, Astro, I appreciated the comedy. It's good. I feel like there's a formula here already that we're seeing. It's like intensity, lore, comedy. Intensity, lore, comedy. And I feel like it's going to continue that way for a little bit. And we're about to go into intensity, I feel like, starting in episode 10. This Daemon was so cool, but like, damn, violation of privacy, like the characters say. I don't remember their abilities, but it was just so fascinating to see how there's like a black book on almost anybody that's ever had a connection with a Daemon before, and all they have to do is touch the Daemons. I love this ability. It is so interesting. And this anime just continues to find ways to make the Daemon's abilities so interesting. So, like, I mean, how far can this universe really expand? This low-key, the ability system of Daemons, it could be as big as One Piece and Devil Fruits. And I think that's what I enjoy so much about it, because I'm like, how can it be so simple but be so complex but make so much sense? So I enjoyed this moment and them like learning about the assassins that eventually are getting recruited into the Kagemori clan. Very interesting. Wonder what the head's master's real motives are, because it seems like he obviously wants to know more about the assassins that came in. And his only way, because the only connection that they have is these two people, despite the fact that the person who originally hired them doesn't really they have no real connection. Like, they just got hired and they just strolled up into the place. And the most interesting thing was the fact that they said that they entered through the west gate. The west gate has no doors, has no gate. It's a complete wall. And they really tried to fucking play us and show us the mangaka sitting in the dark like some edgelord, but he's talking about his manga deadlines. They really had me going for a second. I said, wait a second. The vibes don't match the words. What are they talking about here? Because they are definitely not talking about the Western Gate. And they almost had me going for a moment, because it was like, wait a second. If it was the mangaka, that would make sense. But you guys would not reveal that to me so soon, first of all. And this situation, you guys are just playing me again. But it would have made sense, because if it's just a wall, how did they port through the door there? So someone must have put a door there. There must be some ability that creates portals. There must be some ability that creates a portal for you to enter areas with barriers. Luigi, PPI being violated like crazy. Oh my God, but the way you can use it is so OP. 100%. Rocks, hopefully it doesn't become too complex and convoluted like One Piece is starting to become. I don't think it will. I feel like that's not the mangaka's style. I don't think that's Arakawa sensei's style. But I feel like it does have the potential to be that big and vast, is my point. Astro, I was about to be so pissed if the mangaka was the villain, but I can't rule him out either. Right, because they baited us. Then they said, nah, just kidding. But what if they're redirecting us on purpose? Especially because we know that he says that he doesn't want to be part of the family's shady business. What if this is his way of being I want my family to be done with the shady business. I want to be completely out of it. So my simplest and best course of action is to be done with Yuru and Asa. But then again, I don't think that those motives align for what is happening here, because they clearly want the people that these third party people, they clearly want the abilities. So I don't think from what I can see right away, maybe as a motivation for the mangaka would make sense. But there's more to always be revealed as we go on. Luigi, the mangaka had me so sus for a second there, maybe because we don't know who to trust. See, and we're just going to keep spinning on our wheels on who can we potentially trust, right? They're all sus. Even Deta, to an extent, is kind of sus, because, and this moment right here, I think I talked about it a little bit earlier, the compatibility between Asa and Yin and Yang, and how they don't want to go back to their previous owner because he was a POS. And I'm curious to see how maybe she evolves with having Yin and Yang in connection to Break. So we can keep an eye out for that. But yeah, this moment right here was a little bit fun, seeing them get traced back to Deta's house and them stocking up on weapons. But then they just kind of disappeared into the void. So I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier. Everyone up until this point that's associated with the village or the Kagemori clan has a daemon. But we have never seen Deta with a daemon, and it seems like their daemon is the fucking house, the lost house, where people just get trapped in a dimension elsewhere and they never make it back. Is that what it is? Maybe I misunderstood that scene, because I had to rewatch that scene a couple of times. I don't know if I misunderstood that scene, but it seemed like that was the case. Their daemon is that house that's been passed down, or they're in the house and they've been passed down through generations. So I thought that was so interesting in itself. Now, while I can't say that I'm gonna rate this episode high, I found the ending mostly interesting. And I feel like this episode deserves closer to a 6.5 and a 7. But the very last piece, and I looked this up literally right before the live, is these daemons. So these daemons are actually based on a Japanese yokai folklore known as long arms and long legs, because I was there has to be something about them. Whose daemons they are, don't know yet. But there is definitely some history, like mythological history behind it. So I might be diving into that a little bit more to get a better understanding as to maybe like the whole Daemon system that's going on here. But anyway, regardless, I digress. And then it kind of just ends this live too with the fact that left and right, up until this point, I feel like they haven't really been like, yo, that Daemon's really dangerous up until now. Because Yuru and them have kind of like been involved in tandem. And this is the first time that left and right are like, you guys might want to step back. This Daemon seems particularly dangerous. So I think like the stakes are definitely a little bit higher in the next episode. Because up until this point, it seems like we've gotten people who wanted to kidnap Yuru more than anything. And like maybe that's still the case here, but it seems a little bit more lethal this time. Anyway, but yeah, I'd give this episode a 7. I enjoyed seeing the comedy. I enjoyed seeing some of the new Daemons. There wasn't a lot to go on here. I feel like we got a little bit more insight into Deta. And if anything, if the guy, I think his name is Asuma, the Jin looking guy, is sus, Deta has like the most mystery to him because he's someone who his family has been entrusted in protecting. I guess it sounds like the concept of the twins for a very long time. He obviously had the necklace protecting like left and right. So that seems to be passed down through his family through generations. So like they definitely have, his family definitely has to be at the heart of a lot of this. And we don't know their involvement, their historical involvement, and really what Deta kind of thinks. You know, Deta, he mentions, like, I just want to keep it low key. I just want to protect Yuru. That's all I want to do, man. Like, he definitely wants to protect him from being, like, killed, and maybe not having Seal manifest. But, you know, I don't know. At this point, I really don't know, because if they've been entrusted to hold on to left and right for all of these generations, then they must be in charge of making sure that Seal and Break doesn't get out of hand. But what if, like, they also want Seal and Break, but only for what they think is their good? You get what I'm saying? Because it seems like some people generally don't want Break and Seal to manifest, but it sounds like they don't want it to manifest solely for the fact that they know there are dangerous people out there that want them, and they know that they can't protect these twins from being kidnapped and so on and so forth. But like, what if these people didn't exist? Because why continue to have the village manifest these twins if you didn't want the ability somehow, somewhat? I like, does that make sense? I think, like, I feel like, you know, there's just something very sketch about like Deta, because he protects the twins and protected left and right for multiple generations. So I think like now I have a lot of questions for Deta. We see his Daemons and Daemons that have been passed through his family, and then it makes you just start to wonder. People have been strolling through this lost house Daemon for generations, probably, and kind of taking care of these Kagemori agents and other agents over time. So Deta, what really do you want? Because you say you want things to be low key, but I don't know, man. Something tells me you're hiding your motives. So I've become more skeptical of Deta, especially after this episode. Like, I really do think that he wants to protect Yuru, but I genuinely don't know what his opinion is of when it comes to Seal and Break, if that makes more sense. Luigi, I kind of hope next episode is left and right showcase. Yeah, I feel like it's been a while seeing them throw hands, and I'd love to see them throw down big time. Even though I love seeing Yuru get involved, seeing left and right, especially left, like just throw down is just so fun. Waifu left. Love her. Anyway, all right. Yeah, I feel like that's most of the extent of what I wanted to raise in these episodes after watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. Hopefully you enjoyed the live. I mean, let me know your thoughts, man. Because I only strive to make these more enjoyable for you, and so that we can all connect as a community and talk about all these anime that we love and we enjoy. I have a Patreon. If you guys haven't joined the Patreon, it's free to join. There's no pressure. I kind of post similar stuff that I post on here. I try to post a little bit of extra information on there since it is Patreon and you guys are patrons. But feel free to join. Hopefully gonna have some exclusive content on there if you choose to become a paid Patreon or a paid patron, as just paying back to the community for supporting me and allowing me to fund my creativity in a way, or fund like the work that I do here. But, that's the extent of it. Second Prophecy, missed it by that much. I'm assuming you mean the stream. I mean, you could always go back and watch it. And just know that there's going to be another stream next month for the next couple episodes. So we just went through 5 through 9. We are going to be going through 10, 11, 12, and 13 in the next month's live. So keep an eye out for that. That'll probably be at the end of June. And then I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do for July, August, and September, because I feel like I have to continue this because there's 24 episodes. But do you know how much is coming out this summer? Do you know how much is coming out this summer? There's so much coming out this summer. There's Bleach. There's the supermarket one, the romance one that I'm really curious about. There's Witch of Mongolia. That looks really cool, very interesting. I think it's being done by Science Saru. Man, I just posted, if you go to the Patreon, you'll see the list of everything that I will be potentially watching. Another reason for you to watch the Patreon. Join the Patreon. A list of everything that I will be watching, potentially coming this summer. Because I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I don't think Ghost in the Shell, Black Torch, One Piece Heroine should be a special, so that shouldn't be too intense. Red River, The Ribbon Hero seems to be a movie. Then the returning anime, we've got Bleach, we've got Clevitas, we've got Mushoku Tensei, Polar Opposites Season 2, The Elusive Samurai, Maji Lumiere, which I really love. So I'm like, do I do another anime in conjunction with Daemons? I don't think I can manage it, man. And then ReZero is continuing, which has been destroying my emotions and my brain because, oh my God, the latest episode, I'm not even going to talk about it, but oh my God, destroyed me. Absolutely destroyed me. And then there's also Mao. So it's like, do I just continue with this? Or do I tack something else on and continue with this? What do I do? I mean, you guys let me know what I should do, but what should I do? Anyway, I digress. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. If you joined and you haven't liked the stream yet, make sure you like the stream. Follow me on socials. I'm mostly active on Threads, to be super frank. You'll see me on Instagram a little bit here and there, but I'm most active on Threads if you want to see some of my most candid thoughts when I'm not posting some of my long-form videos. And, definitely have some videos in the chamber that's got some editing that is required, but there are videos to come for the month of May, I promise, aside from streams. So thank you everyone for joining. I appreciate you all for coming. Joel, I am caught up on Dr. Stone. I am so excited to see the climax, because we only have a few episodes left. What am I going to do? I'm not emotionally prepared to see them go to the moon. I'm not emotionally prepared to see them go to the moon. It's fucking crazy, man. I can't believe we got here and so quickly. Also, Mel, before you head out, are you caught up on the Windbreaker manga? I am not reading Windbreaker. I am only watching the anime. I don't have bandwidth for Windbreaker. Which at some point I will be posting, I guess that could be an exclusive thing. I will be posting a full list of everything I am reading. So that you guys can know, because I feel like you guys always know what I'm watching, because it's mostly everything that's current, and then maybe one or two off-season anime that have already aired. Like right now I'm still getting through Ranking of Kings, and then I'm gonna be starting Monster maybe sometime this week, hopefully, fingers crossed. But I feel like you guys don't know what I'm reading most of the time, and I feel like that's worth posting. So maybe join the Patreon. Even as a free member, I'll definitely post it for all to see, so you know what I'm reading and you can kind of keep up with me. Anyway, but yeah, thanks so much everyone for joining. Yeah, we were eating good this summer. I want to go outside, and they said, psych, nah, you're not going outside, Mel. But yes, join the Patreon, follow me on Threads, super active on Threads, follow me on Instagram. My socials are in the description. The Patreon is in the description. And again, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe, watch some of the other content that I have, and look forward to some videos coming soon. All right. So everyone have a fantastic night, day. If it's already day for you and it's the next day, happy June. Everyone have a fantastic June. And I will catch you all on the next live or in the next long form video.